What if I revealed that money, yes, actual wealth, doesn't choose who to bless and who to ignore based on your background, education, or even your work ethic? Would you believe me if I said that money simply obeys and has been obeying your commands all along? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Has this ever happened to you? You check your bank account at the end of the month, and despite all your efforts, the numbers don't match your intentions. You work hard, you budget carefully, yet somehow money seems to slip through your fingers like water. This isn't coincidence. This isn't bad luck. This is the power of your words manifesting in your financial reality. You see, every single day, you've been issuing commands without even realizing it. I can never save enough. Money is so hard to come by. The rich get richer, and I just stay stuck. These aren't just innocent complaints or observations. They're powerful directives that money has no choice but to follow. Money doesn't have feelings. It doesn't judge your worthiness. It simply responds to the authority in your voice, or more accurately, the lack thereof. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this profound truth decades ago when she wrote that our words create our world. She wasn't speaking metaphorically. She was revealing a universal law as consistent as gravity. When you drop something, gravity doesn't debate whether to pull it down. It simply acts. Money operates on the same principle of absolute obedience. Stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover in this video might completely transform how you speak about your finances. The wealthy aren't lucky. They're simply speaking a different language, one of authority and certainty rather than doubt and scarcity. Think about this for a moment. What if every financial struggle you've experienced wasn't because the universe was against you, but because it was faithfully delivering exactly what you ordered through your words? Your casual sighs of, "I'll never be financially free," weren't ignored. They were followed to the letter. The most terrifying part? Even when you spoke with accidental certainty about lack, money obeyed. The most liberating part? When you change your commands, reality has no choice but to shift in response. I'm about to share with you a command so powerful, so absolute, that when spoken with genuine authority, large sums of money will have no option but to move in your direction. This isn't positive thinking. This isn't wishful manifestation. This is understanding the fundamental law that governs wealth. If you felt that shift in energy as we explored this powerful command together, hit subscribe now. Each video builds on these principles, revealing deeper layers of the financial authority you've always possessed, but perhaps never fully claimed. And this revelation might be the hidden truth that transforms your entire financial journey. Money doesn't distinguish between your casual remarks and your intentional declarations. That offhanded comment about always being broke by Wednesday isn't dismissed as just a figure of speech. It's received as a binding instruction. The universe doesn't filter your words through your intentions. It responds to the certainty with which you speak them. This explains why some people seem to manifest financial abundance seemingly by accident. They've unwittingly mastered the mindset of speaking with authority about wealth, even in moments when they aren't consciously trying to manifest anything. Their everyday language contains fragments of absolute certainty about prosperity that money has no choice but to obey. Look back through history at every great fortune ever built. From the merchant princes of Venice to the tech billionaires of Silicon Valley, their wealth didn't materialize from tentative hopes or desperate prayers. Their empires were built on the foundation of voices that spoke with such unshakable conviction that reality itself had no option but to bend and reshape according to their words. When Rockefeller declared as a young boy that he would make a fortune, it wasn't a child's fantasy. It was a command issued with such clarity that the universe immediately began rearranging itself to fulfill that decree. When Oprah spoke of her vision, despite every obstacle, her words weren't wishes. They were decisions already made in the realm where all manifestation begins. The transformation we're discussing goes beyond mere positive thinking. It's about recognizing that you've been wielding this power your entire life, unaware of its impact. Every financial decision, every unexpected bill, every surprising windfall, all of them echoes of commands you issued days, months, or even years ago through your casual speech. What's truly remarkable about this revelation is how it completely democratizes wealth. It's not education, connections, or even talent that ultimately determines financial abundance. It's the authority with which you speak about money. And authority isn't granted. It's claimed. It's not earned. It's embodied. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by examining what happens beneath the surface when you speak with certainty. Imagine your words as seeds planted in fertile soil. Some seeds, those spoken with doubt, fear, or hesitation, grow into sparse, struggling plants. But those same words, when uttered with absolute conviction, produce abundant harvests that continue yielding fruit season after season. The question isn't whether this power works. It's whether you're ready to wield it consciously, instead of haphazardly. Are you prepared to examine the language you've been using about money and recognize how it's shaped your current financial reality? Are you willing to make the subtle but profound shift from speaking like someone who hopes for wealth to speaking like someone who commands it? If what I'm saying resonates with the experiences you've had in your own life, write in the comments, "Money obeys my voice." The power of your authoritative voice exists within the same framework as the most awe-inspiring forces of nature. Think about a gathering storm, the electric tension in the air, the darkening sky, the inevitable crash of thunder. Do you negotiate with lightning? Do you bargain with the rain? Of course not. These elements follow immutable natural laws that operate whether we acknowledge them or not. Your voice, when filled with genuine authority, creates ripples through reality with this same uncompromising force. The universe doesn't evaluate your worthiness or question your audacity when you speak with conviction. It simply responds, the way clouds must release rain when atmospheric conditions demand it. This is the hidden truth behind every financial breakthrough. It wasn't luck or timing, but the natural consequence of authoritative declaration. The greatest revelation in this journey of transformation is recognizing that money has never moved randomly in your life. What appeared as financial chaos, unexpected expenses, mysterious shortfalls, surprising windfalls, was actually perfect obedience to the commands you've been issuing through your words and even your unspoken beliefs. Most people operate from a profound misconception. They view money as capricious, fickle, favoring some, while ignoring others based on mysterious criteria they can never quite grasp. This fundamental misunderstanding keeps them trapped in a cycle of financial frustration, always chasing, never commanding. The wealthy elite understand, either consciously or intuitively, that money is not random, but responsive. It doesn't require endless pursuit, it requires clear direction. When they speak about wealth, their tone carries an unmistakable certainty that doesn't question if money will come, but simply directs when and how it will arrive. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment with universal principles. I've witnessed countless individuals experience profound awakening when they finally grasp this concept. Their entire relationship with money shifts overnight. Bills that once provoked anxiety are met with calm assurance. Opportunities that seemed out of reach suddenly materialize, not because the external world changed, but because their internal commands shifted from doubt to certainty. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this principle perfectly when she wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. The financial boomerangs in your life, both wanted and unwanted, have been returning to you with perfect precision based on the quality of certainty in your voice." What's truly liberating about this mindset breakthrough is that it places the power firmly in your hands. You don't need special connections, advanced degrees, or even exceptional skills to transform your financial reality. You simply need to recognize the command that you've been unconsciously issuing and deliberately replace it with one that reflects your true desires. Consider how differently you might approach money conversations starting today. Instead of saying, "I hope I can afford this someday," what if you declared with quiet certainty, "This is already mine"? The shift seems subtle, but the vibrational impact is worlds apart. If you're beginning to recognize patterns in your own life where your words have directly shaped your financial reality, drop a comment saying, "I command abundance." Let me offer you a powerful visualization that will forever change how you perceive wealth creation. Imagine a vast army standing in absolute silence, thousands of soldiers perfectly still, awaiting a single command. The tension is palpable. The potential energy is immense. Yet nothing happens until the commander speaks. The moment that authoritative voice cuts through the silence, the entire force moves as one, decisive, immediate, and unstoppable. This is precisely how money behaves in the universe. It's not scattered or chaotic, it's not unpredictable or elusive. It stands at perfect attention, an organized force of infinite potential, waiting for your command. The revelation that transforms financial destinies is recognizing that you are the commander of this army. Every word you speak with conviction sets this force in motion. Subscribe to this channel if you're ready to continue this journey of transformation. I share these hidden principles of wealth creation that most will never discover, and each video builds upon the last to help you master the language of abundance. The tragedy is that most people never step into the role of commander. They whisper tentatively, where they should declare boldly. They question their authority where they should embody it. They hope where they should direct. And money, disciplined as any great army, simply follows the uncertain commands they give, creating financial realities that reflect this hesitation. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this principle with crystal clarity when she declared, "Your word is law." This statement isn't poetic license or metaphorical flourish. It's an expression of the fundamental architecture of reality. Your word, spoken with absolute certainty, becomes the law that reality must follow, just as gravity must pull objects earthward, just as light must travel at its perfect speed. This insight represents a radical paradigm shift in how we approach wealth. Most conventional wisdom suggests that financial abundance comes through strategic planning, careful saving, or aggressive investment. While these practical steps have their place, they're secondary to the primary catalyst, the authoritative command that sets everything in motion. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this hidden truth. Someone stepped into their authority and spoke with such unwavering certainty that money had no choice but to respond. Their words weren't wishes cast into the wind. They were commands issued from the throne of their consciousness. The journey to embodying this principle begins with awareness. Start noticing the subtle ways your current speech patterns might be issuing commands of limitation rather than abundance. That casual, "I could never afford that," isn't just an observation, it's a binding directive. The offhand, "money always slips through my fingers," isn't merely describing your experience, it's creating it. This awareness then evolves into conscious choice. You begin deliberately selecting words that command prosperity rather than scarcity. You speak about your financial future not as a hopeful possibility, but as an unfolding certainty. This isn't pretending or fake it till you make it. It's aligning your voice with the truth of your inherent authority. What's fascinating about this revelation is how it democratizes wealth creation. You don't need special credentials, unique talents, or privileged connections to command money effectively. You simply need to recognize and embody the authority that has been yours all along. If you've ever noticed moments when your clear declarations seem to manifest quickly in your reality, type "I am the commander" in the comments below. There's a fascinating phenomenon at play in this universe that perfectly illustrates how your voice affects financial reality. Consider a magnet near metal objects. There's no visible connection, no rope, no chain, no physical bond, yet the pull is undeniable. The metal moves toward the magnet with an immediacy that requires no negotiation or convincing. This invisible but powerful field operates according to laws that don't bend to opinion or preference. Your voice, when filled with authentic authority, creates precisely this kind of energetic field around money. The resonance of your words generates an unseen but undeniable pull that wealth cannot resist. This isn't mystical thinking. It's an alignment with universal principles that govern all forms of energy, including the energy of abundance. What's particularly revelatory about this understanding is how it explains the vast disparity in financial experiences among people who seem equally qualified, equally hardworking, equally deserving. The breakthrough comes when you realize that the struggle with money isn't because the universal law is failing or playing favorites. It's because most people have never learned to speak the language that money actually responds to. Listen carefully to how most individuals talk about their finances. Their words are saturated with subtle begging. I hope I can afford this someday. Their phrases are steeped in tentative wishing. I'd really like to be financially free. Their statements are riddled with underlying doubt. I'm trying to attract more abundance. This language creates a frequency that simply doesn't resonate with the energy of wealth. Money doesn't respond to pleading. It doesn't answer to wishful thinking. It moves only in response to clear, unwavering commands issued from a place of innate authority. The transformation begins when you recognize this fundamental mismatch between how you've been speaking and how money actually responds. Think about someone you know who seems to have a golden touch with finances. Behind their seeming luck is this hidden truth. They speak differently. Their words carry a quiet certainty that doesn't question whether money will come, only when and how. They don't hope for wealth. They expect it as naturally as you expect the sun to rise tomorrow. This understanding liberates you from the endless cycle of financial strategies that never quite deliver the promised results. The SAO. Missing ingredient wasn't another investment technique or budgeting approach. It was the quality of command in your voice when you speak about money. The journey toward mastering this principle involves a profound but simple shift in your internal relationship with wealth. Instead of positioning yourself as a supplicant hoping to be chosen by money, you step fully into your role as the commander who directs its movement. This isn't arrogance. It's simply alignment with how the universe actually works. What's truly remarkable is how quickly your financial reality begins to shift once you make this adjustment. Opportunities that seemed closed suddenly appear. Resources you didn't know existed reveal themselves. Pathways to abundance that were invisible become clear. Not because the external world changed, but because your magnetic field shifted from repelling wealth to attracting it irresistibly. If you've noticed yourself using phrases like, I can't afford it, or money is tight right now, put shifting my words in the comments below. What makes this approach to financial abundance so radically different from conventional wisdom is that it bypasses the entire framework of pleading and hoping that most people unconsciously adopt. The command I'm about to share with you operates on an entirely different dimension of consciousness. It doesn't negotiate or bargain with the universe. It doesn't timidly request or meekly suggest. It declares with finality and watches as reality. Rearranges itself in response. This represents a profound paradigm shift in your relationship with wealth. Most approaches to money place you in the position of a supplicant, hoping to be chosen, waiting to be blessed, trying to prove your worthiness. But this command positions you as the authority, the one who directs rather than the one who waits. This single shift in perspective catalyzes a complete transformation in how money responds to you. The immediacy of this response is perhaps the most startling revelation. Consider what happens when you drop a heavy object. Does gravity hesitate? Does it consider whether you deserve to have the object fall? Does it evaluate your character or review your past? Of course not. The object falls instantly, without delay, without judgment, without permission. This is precisely how money responds to authoritative commands. The moment you speak with genuine authority, financial energy begins moving toward you with this same immediate certainty. There's no evaluation period, no cosmic committee deciding if you qualify. There's simply the law responding to the command, as it must. This explains why some people seem to manifest wealth with bewildering speed while others struggle for decades. They've mastered the frequency of command rather than request. Behind every overnight success story is this hidden catalyst. Someone stepped fully into their authority and spoke in a way that triggered an immediate gravitational pull of abundance. Their apparent luck was actually perfect alignment with universal law. Their seeming good fortune was the natural consequence of speaking the language that money instantly obeys. What's particularly liberating about this understanding is that it frees you from the endless cycle of proving yourself worthy of wealth. You don't need to demonstrate your value through exhausting labor. You don't need to justify your desires through spiritual gymnastics. You simply need to align your voice with the frequency of command rather than supplication. This alignment isn't about volume or forcefulness. It's about a quiet, unshakable certainty that emanates from your core. It's the difference between saying, "I hope this works," and "this is working now." It's the contrast between "I want more money" and "money comes to me easily." The words might seem similar on the surface, but the vibrational impact is worlds apart. The decision to shift from hoping to commanding represents a fundamental milestone in your journey toward financial mastery. It's the moment you recognize that you've been positioning yourself incorrectly in relation to wealth, standing as a petitioner when you were designed to be a director. This revelation doesn't just change your words, it transforms your entire identity in relation to abundance. If you can feel the difference between asking money to come and commanding it to appear, write, "I speak with authority," in the comments. Once you truly grasp this principle, you'll experience one of the most profound revelations on your wealth journey. Your authoritative commands don't require your constant attention or maintenance to continue working. Think about your heartbeat for a moment. Right now, without any conscious effort on your part, your heart maintains its perfect rhythm. You don't need to monitor it, remind it, or will it to continue. It operates according to natural law, whether you're focused on it or not. This is precisely how authoritative commands function in the realm of wealth creation. When you speak with genuine certainty, you initiate a process that continues working in the background of reality, regardless of whether you're actively thinking about it. This explains why some people seem to attract financial opportunities even when they're not consciously focusing on money. Their previous commands continue operating like a heartbeat, steady and reliable. The persistence of these commands reveals another dimension of this transformative principle. Imagine standing at the edge of a vast canyon and releasing one powerful shout. The sound doesn't simply travel forward and disappear. It echoes, returning again and again, multiplied and amplified by the very structure of the canyon. Your authoritative declarations operate through this same magnificent principle of multiplication. When you speak with genuine authority about wealth, your words don't vanish into the ether. They continue moving through the fabric of reality, gathering momentum, attracting similar energies, and returning to you multiplied. This explains the often surprising timing of financial breakthroughs. They're the echoes of commands you may have issued weeks, months, or even years ago, finally completing their journey through the canyon of manifestation. This understanding revolutionizes your approach to creating abundance. Most conventional wisdom suggests that manifesting wealth requires constant vigilance, affirmations repeated endlessly, visualizations practiced daily, focus maintained relentlessly. But when you speak from true authority, the process is far more elegant and effortless. You don't need exhausting repetition, you need undeniable certainty. The journey toward mastering this principle involves a fundamental mindset shift. Instead of seeing your declarations as temporary interventions that require constant renewal, you recognize them as permanent alterations to the fabric of your reality. Like carving your name into stone, rather than writing it in sand, authoritative commands create lasting imprints that continue shaping your financial landscape long after the words have left your lips. What's particularly fascinating about this revelation is how it explains the often mysterious timing of wealth manifestation. The abundance that appears in your life today may be the echo of a command you issued with particular clarity months ago. The financial breakthrough that seems to arrive out of nowhere is actually the completion of a process set in motion by your previous authoritative declarations. This insight liberates you from the pressure of forcing or controlling your financial manifestations. You don't need to micromanage the universe's response to your commands. You simply need to speak with unwavering certainty and then allow the natural laws of multiplication and echo to fulfill the declaration in perfect timing. This represents a profound release from the exhausting cycle of trying to make things happen through sheer force of will. If you've ever experienced a financial blessing that seemed to arrive at exactly the right moment, though you weren't actively working to create it, write divine echoes in the comments below. Now, I want to go even deeper into this extraordinary principle of commands continuing to work even when you're not consciously directing them. Consider the phenomenon of momentum in the physical world. When you push a heavy object, the initial force you apply creates movement that continues even after you've removed your hand. This same principle operates in the realm of authoritative declarations about wealth. When you speak with genuine certainty, you create an energetic momentum that continues working in the background of your reality. This explains one of the most mysterious aspects of financial breakthroughs, why they often arrive during periods when you've seemingly stopped trying so hard. It's not that the universe suddenly decided to bless you, it's that your previous commands finally gathered enough momentum to manifest visibly. This understanding completely transforms how you approach the journey toward abundance. Most people operate with a start-stop mentality, intensely focusing on wealth creation for short bursts, then abandoning the process when immediate results don't appear. But authoritative commands don't require this exhausting cycle of effort and surrender. They continue resonating through reality regardless of your momentary focus, like ripples expanding outward long after the stone has disappeared beneath the water's surface. The awakening that comes with this revelation is particularly powerful during apparent setbacks or delays. When financial challenges arise, most people immediately abandon their declarations of abundance and revert to the language of lack. But those who understand this principle recognize that temporary obstacles don't negate the ongoing echo of their authoritative commands. The declaration continues, working behind the scenes, even as surface conditions seem to contradict it. Florence Scovel Shinn captured this perfectly when she wrote about the law of gestation, the understanding that manifestations, like seeds planted in soil, continue developing unseen before breaking through to visibility. Your authoritative commands about wealth are subject to this same beautiful process. They don't vanish when challenged. They continue their perfect unfoldment according to divine timing. What's particularly remarkable about this alignment is how it explains the often exponential nature of wealth creation. Just as compound interest multiplies financial investments over time, authoritative declarations compound in their manifestation power. Each time your command echoes through the canyon of reality, it returns slightly amplified, gathering momentum and force until what began as a whisper eventually becomes a symphony of abundance that cannot be denied. This understanding liberates you from the draining cycle of constantly monitoring your manifestations for evidence of progress. You don't need to dig up the seed every day to see if it's sprouting. You don't need to track every penny as validation of your commands. You simply need to speak with unwavering certainty and then allow the natural process of echo and amplification to unfold in perfect divine order. If you've ever noticed that your greatest financial breakthroughs seem to arrive when you finally stopped forcing and simply allowed, write divine timing in the comments section. Here's where this principle becomes both terrifying and liberating. The echo effect doesn't discriminate between positive and negative commands. Every word you speak with certainty, whether constructive or destructive, creates the same powerful ripples through reality. Your complaints, your expressions of lack, your declarations of impossibility, all of these reverberate through the canyon of manifestation with the exact same authority as your positive commands. When you casually remark, "I can never seem to save money," you're not merely describing your current situation. You're issuing a powerful command that reality must obey. When you habitually sigh, "Bills always come at the worst possible time," You're not making an innocent observation. You're establishing a pattern that the universe faithfully reproduces. The struggles, the unexpected expenses, the persistent financial pressure, these aren't random circumstances happening to you. They're the perfect echoes of commands you've unknowingly issued. This revelation illuminates one of the most profound insights from Florence Scovel Shinn. Your inner speech mirrors itself on the outside. Notice she didn't qualify this statement with conditions or exceptions. She didn't say it happens sometimes, or only when you're really focusing. She declared it as absolute law. What you speak internally must manifest externally. Must, not might, not could, must. This understanding is simultaneously the most terrifying and the most liberating truth you'll ever encounter on your journey toward abundance. Terrifying because it means you've been unconsciously creating every financial struggle you've experienced. Liberating because it means you possess the power to transform your reality completely through a simple shift in your authoritative declarations. The awakening that comes with this insight often creates a profound watershed moment in people's financial journey. They suddenly recognize the direct connection between their habitual language patterns and their persistent money struggles. The chronic debt, the recurring unexpected expenses, the frustrating income ceiling, all of these were perfect reflections of commands issued through careless words spoken with certainty. This recognition represents a fundamental paradigm shift in your relationship with wealth. You're no longer a victim of random economic forces or mysterious financial bad luck. You're the commander whose words have been faithfully obeyed, for better or worse. This shift in identity transforms you from passenger to driver, from effect to cause, from responder to creator. The revolution in your financial destiny begins with a simple but profound commitment: to become exquisitely conscious of the commands you're issuing about money, to listen to your own words with new awareness, to recognize when you're unconsciously declaring lack and limitation, and to deliberately replace these destructive commands with declarations that align with the abundance you desire to experience. What's particularly powerful about this commitment is that it doesn't require you to deny your current financial reality. It simply asks you to speak about that reality differently, to describe it in terms of transition rather than permanence, of temporary circumstance rather than immutable identity. This subtle shift in language creates an entirely different echo pattern in the canyon of manifestation. If you're beginning to recognize patterns in your speech that might be creating financial limitation in your life, write "watching my words" in the comments below. Now I want to reveal something that might feel unsettling at first, but ultimately contains the seed of your financial liberation. Every careless word you've ever spoken about money has already created echoes in your reality. Every casual complaint, every frustrated outburst, every resigned sigh, all of these have been reverberating through the canyon of your life, returning to you as the financial circumstances you've been experiencing. This isn't punishment. It's simply perfect obedience to the commands you've unknowingly issued. This truth can initially feel terrifying when fully grasped. It means that the financial struggles you've attributed to bad luck, unfortunate timing, or external economic forces were actually manifestations of your own spoken commands. The bills that always seem to arrive before the paycheck, the unexpected expenses that consistently drain your savings, the income ceiling you can't seem to break through. All of these are echoes returning from commands you issued perhaps years ago. But here's where profound liberation emerges from this realization. If your past words created your current reality, your present words are already creating your future reality. The moment you change the commands you're issuing about money, you initiate an entirely new pattern of echoes that will reshape your financial landscape. This isn't wishful thinking. It's the operation of immutable universal law. The transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it begins instantly beneath the surface. Think about what happens during an earthquake. The visible disruption, buildings swaying, ground shifting, is preceded by unseen movement deep underground. There's a moment when tremendous change is already underway, but nothing is yet visible on the surface. This perfectly illustrates how Authoritative commands begin working in your financial reality. The moment you speak with genuine authority about wealth, shifts begin occurring beneath the visible surface of your life. New connections are forming. New pathways are opening. New possibilities are aligning. You may not see evidence immediately, but make no mistake, the earth is already moving. This understanding is crucial during what appears to be a waiting period. What looks like delay is actually divine orchestration happening. Beneath the threshold of visibility, this revelation transforms how you perceive the relationship between your words and your financial manifestations. Most people abandon their declarations when they don't see immediate evidence of change. They speak abundance on Monday, but revert to lack on Tuesday when the bank account still shows the same balance. But those who understand this principle recognize that visible results always lag behind invisible shifts, just as the surface disruption of an earthquake follows the underground movement. The journey toward financial mastery involves developing a profound trust in this process of underground movement. You don't need to see immediate evidence to know that your authoritative declarations are already working. You don't need external validation to continue speaking with certainty. You simply need to recognize that the lag between declaration and manifestation doesn't indicate failure. It indicates the perfect unfolding of natural law. If you're beginning to sense that shifts are already occurring beneath the surface of your financial reality, even if conditions haven't visibly changed yet, type "shifts are happening" in the comments below. This revelation dismantles one of the most persistent myths about wealth that keeps so many people trapped in financial limitation. Most individuals operate under the fundamental misconception that money flows randomly, blessing some through luck while ignoring others regardless of their efforts. This belief system is the invisible prison that keeps financial freedom perpetually out of reach. Because if wealth is random, what power do you truly have to change your circumstances? But here's the paradigm shift that transforms everything. Wealth isn't random or luck-based any more than gravity is selective about which objects it pulls toward Earth. It operates according to precise, immutable laws that respond with perfect consistency to everyone who aligns with them. The appearance of randomness comes only from our collective unawareness of these laws, not from their absence. Think about how gravity functions. It doesn't evaluate your character before deciding whether to pull an object downward. It doesn't consider your background, education, or social connections. It simply responds with perfect consistency to anyone who interacts with it. Wealth operates through this same unwavering consistency. The only variable is whether you're aligning with its laws or opposing them. Through your commands. This understanding illuminates the true nature of those individuals we've mistakenly labeled as lucky in the financial realm. When you examine their lives closely, you'll discover something fascinating. They don't speak about money the way most people do. Their casual conversations aren't filled with complaints about lack. Their daily observations don't reinforce scarcity. Their reactions to financial challenges don't declare impossibility. Instead, they unconsciously issue a different quality of command through their words. They speak with a quiet certainty about opportunity rather than limitation. They discuss money with an assumption of flow rather than restriction. They respond to financial setbacks with declarations of temporary circumstance rather than permanent condition. And reality, being perfectly obedient, bends differently around them in response to these different commands. What appears as mystical financial luck is actually perfect alignment with universal law. Their seemingly charmed lives aren't the result of cosmic favoritism, but of unconscious mastery of the commands they issue. And here's the liberation in this understanding. If their financial abundance comes from the quality of their commands rather than some innate specialness, then you can access the same abundance by issuing the same quality of command. The journey toward financial transformation begins with this profound identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone hoping to be chosen by random financial luck and start recognizing yourself as someone who directs financial energy through authoritative commands. This isn't positive thinking or wishful affirmation. It's alignment with the fundamental architecture of how wealth actually operates. What's particularly revolutionary about this understanding is how it democratizes financial abundance. You don't need special connections, prestigious credentials, or rare talents to command wealth effectively. You simply need to align your words with the law that governs it. This alignment isn't earned through struggle or granted through privilege. It's claimed through the authority that has been yours all along. If you've been mistakenly viewing wealth as random rather than lawful, write "wealth follows law" in the comments. Now I want to guide you toward an even more profound revelation that completely inverts how most people understand their relationship with wealth. Throughout your life, without even realizing it, you've been issuing commands about money. Not sometimes, not occasionally, continuously. Every casual remark, every frustrated complaint, every worried observation about your finances has been a command that reality faithfully executed. Think about your most common expressions regarding money. I can never seem to get ahead. There's always too much month at the end of the money. Every time I save something, an unexpected expense appears. These weren't innocent observations. They were powerful directives that money had no choice but to follow. Like a loyal soldier awaiting orders, money simply responded to the commander's voice, your voice. This understanding represents a complete identity transformation in your financial journey. Most people position themselves as supplicants, waiting for money to find them, hoping wealth will somehow notice their worthiness and bless them. They structure their entire relationship with abundance around waiting for the right opportunity, waiting for their luck to change, waiting for financial breakthrough to somehow discover them. But here's the earth-shattering truth that flips this entire paradigm. Money has been waiting for you, not the reverse. Wealth hasn't been hiding from you or overlooking you. It's been standing at perfect attention, waiting for you to issue the right command with genuine authority. This single realization changes everything about how you approach financial abundance. The awakening that comes with this understanding often creates a decisive turning point in people's financial evolution. They suddenly recognize that they've been positioning themselves incorrectly in relation to wealth, standing as petitioners when they were designed to be directors. This insight doesn't just change their words, it transforms their entire identity. They stop chasing money and start commanding it. Behind the scenes of every financial breakthrough is this hidden catalyst, someone who stopped waiting to be chosen by wealth and started issuing commands that wealth had no choice but to obey. Their apparent luck was actually perfect alignment with this principle. Their seeming good fortune was the natural consequence of speaking the language that money instantly responds to. What's particularly revolutionary about this understanding is how it liberates you from the exhausting cycle of proving yourself worthy of abundance. You don't need to demonstrate your value through endless hustle. You don't need to justify your desires through spiritual gymnastics. You don't need to wait until some external authority deems you qualified. You simply need to recognize the authority that has been yours all along and begin speaking in a way that reflects this truth. This revelation doesn't just change your financial strategies, it transforms the very foundation of your relationship with wealth. You're no longer the one who waits. You're no longer the one who hopes. You're no longer the one who begs. You're the commander to whom money responds with perfect obedience. If this perspective shift has illuminated something for you about your own relationship with wealth, write "I am the commander" in the comments. You're standing at a pivotal threshold right now, a genuine turning point in your financial journey. What you're about to receive isn't merely information to be learned or a technique to be tried. It's a fundamental identity shift that will permanently alter your relationship with money. This moment represents a clear dividing line between your old financial reality and the new one that's about to emerge. Think about how certain moments in life create a permanent before and after in your timeline. The day you graduated, the moment you met someone who changed everything, the instant a profound realization altered your perception forever. This is that kind of watershed moment in your financial evolution. After receiving this command, you will never view your relationship with money the same way again. The transformation occurs not just in the words you speak, but in the very foundation of who you understand yourself to be in relation to wealth. Most people position themselves as supplicants before money, hoping to be chosen, waiting to be blessed, trying to prove their worthiness. But this command instantly repositions you as the authority, the one who directs rather than the one who waits. This identity shift catalyzes a complete reconfiguration of how financial energy responds to you. Can you feel it? There's a palpable pressure building in this moment, like the trembling ground near a volcano before eruption. The air feels charged with potential. Your consciousness is already beginning to shift even before the command is spoken. This isn't imagination or suggestion. It's the natural anticipatory response that occurs before any significant breakthrough. Your entire being senses the imminent transformation and begins preparing for it. This pre-eruption trembling is actually part of the process. Just as the earth must shift beneath the surface before a volcano releases its power, your consciousness is already rearranging to accommodate the new reality this command will create. The subtle resistance you might feel, the slight nervousness or skepticism, these are simply the necessary adjustments occurring as your old financial identity prepares to give way to the new. Florence Scovel Shinn described this phenomenon as the dark, before the dawn, that moment of maximum tension that precedes every significant breakthrough. The universe isn't testing you or delaying your blessing. It's simply building the necessary pressure required for explosive transformation. Like a bow pulled to full tension before release, this moment contains all the potential energy needed for the command to launch with maximum impact. What makes this revelation particularly powerful is that it doesn't require years of spiritual practice or financial expertise to implement. The authority needed to issue this command isn't something you earn through struggle or acquire through special knowledge. It's something you claim as your birthright, the inherent power to direct energy through your voice that has been yours all along. The awakening that occurs in this moment isn't about gaining something new, but about recognizing something that has always been true. You've always been the commander. Money has always been the obedient force. The only variable has been whether your commands aligned with what you truly desired or unconsciously created what you feared. This moment simply brings that hidden truth into clear, conscious awareness. If you can feel the pressure building, the subtle vibration of transformation already beginning within you before the command is even spoken, type, "I feel the shift" in the comments. There's something profoundly irreversible about the moment this command leaves your lips. Imagine an archer drawing. Back a bow, muscles tensed, aim focused, and then that decisive moment of release. Once the arrow leaves the string, no amount of regret or reconsideration can call it back. It will travel its destined path and strike its target with perfect precision. This is the exact nature of an authoritative command about wealth. Once spoken with genuine certainty, it cannot be recalled. It has already been set in motion through the fabric of reality. This irreversibility isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace with profound reverence. It means that your words carry genuine creative power. They aren't simply descriptions of reality, they're architects of reality. The command you're about to receive doesn't merely describe a desired financial state. It initiates the precise energetic sequence required to manifest that state. Like the arrow that cannot be recalled once released, this command begins working the moment it leaves your consciousness. The revelation that follows this understanding often creates a watershed moment in people's relationship with wealth. They suddenly recognize that their entire financial life, every struggle, every breakthrough, every persistent pattern, wasn't shaped by random luck or even by physical effort. It was shaped with perfect precision by the words they've been speaking. The chronic debt wasn't bad fortune. It was the manifestation of carelessly spoken commands. The income ceiling wasn't market limitation. It was the echo of unconscious declarations. This awakening can initially feel devastating. To realize that you've been unconsciously creating the very financial limitations you've been fighting against is a humbling recognition. But embedded within this apparent devastation is the seed of profound liberation. If your words created your current financial reality, then different words can create a different financial reality. The same power that manifested limitation can manifest abundance with equal precision. Behind the scenes of this realization is a complete identity transformation. Most people position themselves as victims of external economic forces, market fluctuations, job availability, industry trends. But this revelation repositions you as the primary creative force in your financial landscape. You're not the helpless responder to external conditions. You're the powerful generator of those conditions through your spoken commands. What's particularly revolutionary about this understanding is how it completely democratizes financial empowerment. You don't need special connections, advanced education, or rare talents to transform your wealth reality. You simply need to recognize the creative power of your words and begin wielding that power with conscious intention rather than careless habit. The journey toward financial mastery begins with this fundamental mindset revolution. You stop seeing your words as passive descriptions and start recognizing them as active creators. You become exquisitely conscious of the commands you're issuing about money, whether constructive or destructive, and you deliberately replace unconscious commands of limitation with conscious commands of abundance. This represents a profound evolution in your relationship with wealth. Instead of positioning yourself as someone hoping to be chosen by financial fortune, you recognize yourself as the voice that fortune itself must obey. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment with the fundamental architecture of how reality operates. Your word is law, not because you're special, but because that's how the universal system is designed to function. If you're beginning to recognize how your own carelessly spoken words might have been creating your financial reality all along, write "My words create my wealth" in the comments. Now I want to illuminate one of the most profound principles ever articulated by Florence Scovel Shinn that completely transforms how we understand manifestation. She declared with unwavering certainty, "You are already that which you want to be." This isn't poetic metaphor or wishful thinking. It's a revelation about the fundamental nature of reality itself. The moment you declare something with genuine authority, you're not creating something new. You're simply aligning with what already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibility. Think about what happens when stars align perfectly in the night sky. They don't suddenly materialize from nothing. They've always been there, moving in their perfect orbits. The alignment simply reveals a pattern that was previously invisible to the observer. This is precisely what happens when you speak with authority about wealth. You're not creating abundance that didn't exist. You're aligning with the abundance that has always been your true nature. This understanding represents a complete revolution in how manifestation works. Most conventional approaches position abundance as something outside yourself that you need to attract or achieve through effort. But this principle reveals that the wealth you seek isn't separate from you. It's already integral to who you truly are. Your authoritative declaration simply brings this pre-existing truth into visible manifestation. The command you're about to receive operates through this precise mechanism. Unlike ordinary words that scatter into the atmosphere and dissipate, this command cuts through the fabric of reality with the precision and power of lightning slicing through the sky. It doesn't request or suggest. It declares with such finality that reality has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. This illuminates why most attempts at manifestation fall short. Ordinary affirmations and visualizations operate on the surface level of consciousness, creating gentle ripples rather than decisive transformation. But this command originates from a deeper dimension of your being, the place where you recognize yourself as already being that which you declare. It carries a voltage of certainty that ordinary words simply cannot match. The awakening that comes with this revelation often creates a decisive breakthrough in people's financial journey. They suddenly recognize that they've been positioning wealth as something outside themselves that they need to chase or earn, when in fact, abundance has always been their natural state. The struggle wasn't in attaining wealth, but in removing the false identity that obscured this truth. Behind the scenes of every genuine financial transformation is this hidden catalyst, someone who stopped trying to become wealthy and simply declared their wealth as already existing. Their apparent manifestation wasn't creation, but recognition. Their seeming attraction wasn't gaining something new, but unveiling something that was always there. What's particularly revolutionary about this understanding is how it completely dissolves the perceived gap between your current financial reality and your desired financial state. You're not working to bridge a distance. You're simply declaring the truth that transcends the illusion of separation. The wealth you seek isn't waiting for you in some distant future. It's already present in the field of infinite possibility that you truly are. If you're beginning to sense that the abundance you've been seeking has always been your true nature, write "I am already wealthy" in the comments. Now I want to reveal something truly transformative about the command you're about to receive, something that will fundamentally alter how you perceive your own voice from this moment forward. Once you understand and speak this command, you'll never view your words casually again. A profound awareness will dawn within you, an understanding that every phrase you utter creates ripples that eventually return as the circumstances of your life. This heightened consciousness doesn't create pressure or anxiety. Instead, it brings a sense of sacred responsibility about the creative power you've possessed all along. You'll begin to notice how certain expressions feel aligned with abundance, while others carry the unmistakable frequency of lack. You'll develop an intuitive recognition of which declarations expand your financial possibilities and which constrain them. This discernment becomes second nature, not through effort, but through awakening. This transformation doesn't require you to monitor every word with exhausting vigilance. Instead, it creates a natural evolution in how you express yourself. Just as someone who discovers they have perfect pitch naturally begins to hear music differently, you'll naturally begin to speak the language of abundance rather than scarcity. The shift doesn't demand struggle. It emerges organically from your new awareness. What makes this revelation particularly powerful is the understanding that money has been listening to you with perfect fidelity all along. Every financial struggle, every unexpected expense, every persistent limitation wasn't random misfortune or cosmic punishment. It was simply money faithfully following the instructions you unknowingly issued through your words. Not because money is cruel or indifferent, but because it's perfectly obedient to your commands. This understanding completely transforms how you perceive your financial history. Those persistent patterns of never quite enough weren't evidence of personal unworthiness or financial bad luck. They were the perfect manifestation of commands you issued without recognizing their power. The bills that always seemed to arrive before the paycheck, the unexpected expenses that consistently drained your savings, the income ceiling you couldn't seem to break through. All of these were manifestations of commands you issued perhaps years ago. The liberation in this awareness is profound. If money has been perfectly obedient to your unconscious commands of limitation, it will be equally obedient to your conscious commands of abundance. The same principle that created financial struggle will create financial freedom when directed differently. The same law that manifested scarcity will manifest prosperity when aligned with what you truly desire. This revelation creates a fundamental identity shift in your relationship with wealth. You stop seeing yourself as someone hoping to be chosen by financial fortune and start recognizing yourself as the voice that fortune itself must obey. This isn't arrogance or magical thinking. It's alignment with the universal principles that govern how energy, including the energy of money, responds to authoritative declaration. If you're beginning to recognize how money has been faithfully following your commands all along, for better or worse, write "Money obeys me" in the comments. Here it is, the command that transforms everything. Money obeys my call. 5 simple words that, when spoken with absolute authority, create an immediate reconfiguration in the fabric of your financial reality. Not as a question, not as a hopeful affirmation, not as a desperate plea, but as an unshakable declaration that leaves no room for negotiation or delay. Say it now. Feel the weight of each word as it leaves your lips. Money obeys my call. Did you notice that? The subtle pressure change in the air around you? That slight shiver that traveled through your chest as you spoke the final word? That wasn't your imagination. That was the actual sensation of reality beginning to shift in response to your command. The universe itself adjusting to accommodate the new frequency you just established with your voice. This physical response is the tangible evidence of an invisible process that begins the moment you speak with genuine authority. Just as the atmosphere changes before a thunderstorm, that electric feeling that makes the hair on your arms stand up, your declaration creates an immediate energetic shift that can be physically felt. This sensation is the doorway between your old financial reality and the new one that's now unfolding. What makes this command so extraordinarily powerful is its perfect alignment with universal law. It doesn't beg for wealth or negotiate for abundance. It simply declares the truth that has always existed. Money responds to your call. Not sometimes, not eventually, always. This declaration doesn't create a new relationship with wealth. It simply acknowledges the relationship that has always been in place beneath the surface of your awareness. The awakening that comes with speaking this command creates a profound identity transformation. You're no longer the one who chases money or proves your worthiness to receive it. You're the one who calls, and money obeys. This shift isn't about gaining something new, but about recognizing something that has always been true about your relationship with wealth. When you declared, "Money obeys my call," you didn't just speak words. You claimed your rightful position as the commander of financial energy. This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's alignment with the fundamental architecture of how abundance operates. You've always been the director of wealth's movement. You simply hadn't recognized this truth until now. The revelation in this command goes far beyond typical manifestation techniques. It doesn't involve complex visualization practices or exhausting repetition. It operates through a single, decisive moment of claiming the authority that has been yours all along. Like a royal heir suddenly remembering their true identity after years of living as a commoner, this command awakens you to the financial sovereignty that has always been your birthright. If you felt that undeniable physical sensation when you spoke the command, that subtle pressure change, that gentle shiver through your body, write, "I felt the shift," in the comments. Now I want to reveal the true nature of what you've just spoken into existence. This command, "Money obeys my call," isn't merely an affirmation or positive statement. It operates through the same immutable principles that govern the most powerful forces in nature. Think about the tides responding to the moon's pull. They don't negotiate or decide whether to rise today. They simply move in perfect obedience to cosmic law. Consider the shifting of tectonic plates that create earthquakes. These massive movements don't require permission or validation. They occur as the natural expression of pressure and release, following principles that cannot be argued with or denied. The command you've just spoken operates through this same level of absolute certainty. It doesn't request or suggest. It declares what must be. This understanding elevates your relationship with wealth beyond the realm of wishful thinking or temporary motivation. You're not working with psychological tricks or self-deception. You're aligning with the fundamental architecture of how reality operates. Just as iron has no choice but to respond to a magnetic field, money has no choice but to respond to the authority in your voice when you declare, "Money obeys my call." Let's speak it again, but this time with the awareness of what's actually happening. Money obeys my call. Did you notice how different that felt? The first time, it may have seemed like trying on a new outfit. Interesting, but not quite yours yet. But this second declaration carried a different weight. It felt more authentic, more natural, more aligned with your true identity. This shift represents a profound transformation in your relationship with these words. The command is no longer something external that you're testing or experimenting with. It's becoming integrated into your self-concept, moving from something you say to something you are. This transition from external practice to internal identity is where the true power of transformation lies. You're not repeatedly convincing yourself of something foreign. You're simply recognizing and embodying what has always been true. This revelation illuminates why most attempts at financial manifestation fall short. They remain external practices, affirmations repeated without genuine embodiment, visualizations observed without true identification. But this command operates differently. With each repetition, it sinks deeper into your consciousness, becoming less like a technique you're using and more like a truth you're remembering. The awakening that comes with this understanding often creates a decisive breakthrough in people's financial journey. They suddenly recognize that they've been approaching abundance from the wrong direction, trying to convince themselves of something rather than simply acknowledging what has always been true. The struggle wasn't in creating a new relationship with money, but in remembering the relationship that has always existed beneath the surface of awareness. If you noticed how the second repetition of the command felt different, more natural, more like it, truly belongs to you, write, "It's becoming mine," in the comments. Now I want to guide you through what might be the most transformative revelation of all, the understanding that this command isn't something you do, it's something you become. Money obeys my call isn't a technique to practice occasionally or a tool to deploy when financial pressure mounts. It's a fundamental shift in your core identity, as profound as the difference between someone who occasionally plays music and a musician, between someone who sometimes paints and an artist. This distinction represents the quantum leap in your financial evolution. Most approaches to abundance remain at the level of doing, repeating affirmations, visualizing outcomes, practicing gratitude. But this command operates at the level of being. You don't repeatedly convince yourself that money obeys your call. You simply recognize yourself as the one whom money obeys. This identity shift catalyzes transformation at a level that temporary techniques simply cannot access. Think about how you breathe. You don't remind yourself to inhale and exhale. You don't practice breathing as a daily discipline. Breathing is simply who you are, an automatic expression of your existence. This command is designed to operate with this same level of naturalness. It's not something you force or maintain through constant vigilance. It's something that becomes as integral to your identity as your name, as natural as your breathing. The revelation in this understanding often creates a decisive breakthrough in people's journey toward abundance. They suddenly recognize why previous manifestation attempts created only temporary results. Those approaches remained external practices rather than internal truths. But when money obeys my call transitions from something you say to something you are, the entire foundation of your financial reality undergoes a permanent reconfiguration. With this awakening comes the crucial next step in your transformation journey, living as though the command is already manifest. This isn't pretending or fabricating. It's aligning your daily existence with the truth you've declared. When a bill arrives, you don't panic or doubt. You respond with the quiet certainty of someone who knows that money obeys their call. When an opportunity appears, you don't hesitate or question your worthiness. You move forward with the natural confidence of someone who knows that financial energy responds to their voice. This alignment between declaration and embodiment creates the bridge that transforms potential into tangible reality. Most people miss this crucial step. They speak powerful words, but continue living from the same identity that created their financial limitations. But those who master this principle recognize that living from the new identity is what brings the declaration fully into three-dimensional existence. The journey toward this embodiment doesn't require forcing or pretending. It emerges naturally from genuine recognition. Just as you don't need to convince yourself of your name or remind yourself to breathe, you don't need to continuously persuade yourself that money obeys your call. You simply allow this truth to permeate every aspect of your being until it becomes as natural as your heartbeat. If you're beginning to sense this shift from technique to identity happening within you, write, "I am becoming the command" in the comments. Now I want to guide you toward an insight that might completely revolutionize how you engage with this command. Think about gravity for a moment. When you wake up each morning, do you drop a cup to test whether gravity is still working? Do you throw a pillow in the air to verify that it will fall back down? Of course not. You simply trust that gravity is operating consistently without needing constant verification or proof. This same unwavering trust is essential to embodying the command, "Money obeys my call." Most people sabotage their financial breakthroughs by constantly testing whether the principle is working. They declare the command on Monday, then check their bank account on Tuesday to see if anything has changed. When immediate evidence doesn't appear, doubt creeps in, effectively canceling the command they just issued. This cycle of declaration and doubt creates a perpetual state of financial limbo. Too much faith to completely surrender to limitation, but too much skepticism to fully embrace abundance. The breakthrough comes when you stop needing immediate validation and simply trust the command with the same certainty you have about gravity. You don't question it. You don't test it. You simply know it's working, whether visible evidence has manifested yet or not. This trust isn't blind faith or wishful thinking. It's alignment with universal principles that operate with perfect consistency whether you believe in them or not. Just as gravity doesn't require your faith to function, the law that money obeys your call operates independently of your momentary doubts or verification attempts. Your trust doesn't create the law. It simply allows you to align with what's already true. What's particularly transformative about this command is how it completely reconfigures your responses to financial situations. Consider what happens when a large, unexpected bill arrives. The old self immediately panics, wondering, "How will I ever pay this?" But the new self, the self that knows money, obeys your call, responds with calm authority, not with denial or fantasy, but with the quiet certainty that solutions will appear because you've commanded them to. When you see something you desire but don't currently have the funds for, the old self sighs, "Maybe someday." But the new self declares, "This is already mine," not as a hope, but as a decision already made. This shift in response creates a genuine collapse in the perceived gap between desire and manifestation. The very act of responding from certainty rather than doubt accelerates the manifestation process. This transformation in response pattern goes far beyond positive thinking. It's a fundamental identity shift that alters the energetic foundation of your relationship with money. You're no longer reacting to external financial circumstances. You're responding from an internal certainty that those circumstances must align with your command. This shift doesn't deny current reality. It simply refuses to be defined by it or limited to it. If you're noticing that your automatic responses to financial situations are beginning to shift from panic to certainty, from worry to calm authority, write, "My responses are transforming" in the comments. Now I want to go even deeper into the profound wisdom that Florence Scovel Shinn captured in one of her most transformative teachings. She called it "Assuming the Feeling of the Wish Fulfilled," a principle that completely revolutionizes how manifestation actually works. This isn't about hoping something will happen or working hard to make it occur. It's about living from the emotional reality that what you desire is already accomplished, already present, already yours. When you declare, "Money obeys my call," you don't then wait anxiously to see if it's true. You don't position yourself as a scientist testing a hypothesis that might prove false. You assume the command as already law, as permanently established as gravity or the movement of planets. This assumption isn't pretending or fantasizing. It's aligning your consciousness with a truth that exists beyond current appearances. This mindset revolution represents the decisive breakthrough in your journey toward financial mastery. Most people miss this crucial step. They speak powerful words, but continue living from the emotional reality of lack and limitation. Their words say abundance, but their feelings remain anchored in scarcity. This misalignment creates a state of perpetual financial limbo. Too much faith to completely surrender to limitation, but too much doubt to fully embody abundance. The hidden catalyst behind every genuine financial transformation is this invisible shift in assumed reality. Someone stopped waiting to see if wealth would appear and simply started living from the quiet certainty that it already had. Their apparent manifestation wasn't creating something new. It was aligning with what already existed in the field of infinite possibility. What's particularly fascinating about this principle is the paradoxical truth that the less you check for results, the faster they appear. Think about planting a seed in the garden. If you dig it up every day to see if it's sprouting, you actually interrupt the very growth process you're trying to monitor. The seed needs darkness, pressure, and privacy to transform. Your constant checking doesn't accelerate growth, it prevents it. This same principle applies to the command, "Money obeys my call." The transformation process requires a period of unseen development before visible results appear. Your constant checking, looking for immediate evidence in your bank account, questioning whether the command is working, needing validation that the principle is true, actually interrupts the very manifestation you're trying to accelerate. The awakening that comes with this understanding creates a profound liberation in your relationship with wealth. You're freed from the exhausting cycle of declaration and doubt, freed from the need for constant verification, freed from the pressure to make it happen through force of will. You simply plant the seed of your command in fertile soil, water it with certainty, and then allow the natural process of manifestation to unfold in divine timing. If you're recognizing the wisdom in allowing your financial manifestations to develop without constantly digging them up to check their progress, write "divine timing at work" in the comments. As we come to this moment together, I want you to recognize something profound. The command you've received today, "Money obeys my call," isn't just information to be learned. It's a transformation to be lived. You've stepped into a new identity, one where your voice carries the authority to reshape your financial reality with every word you speak. If this message found its way to you today, it wasn't by accident. The very fact that you remained present throughout this entire journey suggests you were ready for this awakening. The universe doesn't deliver messages like these to those who aren't prepared to receive them. Your presence here was by divine appointment, not random chance. I'd love to continue this journey of financial transformation with you. When you subscribe to this channel, you're not just clicking a button, you're declaring your commitment to mastering the language of abundance that few ever discover. Each video builds upon this foundation, revealing new dimensions of the authority you've always possessed. If this message resonated in your bones, if you felt that subtle shift in your consciousness as we spoke these words together, leave a comment saying, "I command abundance," so I know who's truly walking this path of awakening. That like button is more than just a digital gesture. It's a declaration that this message carries truth and value worth sharing with others who might be ready for the same transformation you're experiencing right now. There's a video right here that takes this principle even deeper, revealing how to apply this command to specific financial situations in your life. Click and continue with me there as we expand this authority into every area of your abundance journey.